Our Chase is traveling yet again. He's always on a plane somewhere. Unfortunately, the plane does not have Starlink, so we don't have streaming capability, nor would his fellow passengers probably be too excited about this one. But I am here nonetheless, and so let's go ahead and get into some releases from the week. If you can hear me, please check in the comments. Let me know that we are visible. I'm going to get us streaming in a couple of places here. Looks like we're good to go there. Awesome. All right, well, let's get into it. We got a lot of awesome releases that went out this week. The first one, well, before we get into releases, if you haven't heard, we're going to India. We're doing another world tour this year, and India is the first stop for HighLevel Live. So go ahead and go to this landing page here. I think that we still have some special pricing on this. So if you're nearby or can easily get there, I recommend you stop in. They're going to have food. They're going to have all kinds of stuff. Some great speakers have been announced recently. And I think we got a couple little surprises too that are coming up. So you're not going to want to miss the HighLevel India event, nor any of the others. Well worth your time to attend. And I can tell you for a fact, the team is going to put on an amazing show. With that, let's jump into what went live recently. First up, we got Social Planner. So for all the RSS junkies out there that just love their RSS, we've got new enhancements to the way that RSS publishing works. And we've got some stability improvements, which is just kind of par for the course. We're always doing stability improvements to make everything as stable as possible. But this new update has to do with the ability to post RSS items with descriptions. So this is a new option. You can now choose to include the RSS item description when publishing posts. So you've got a toggle for that, toggle it on, toggle it off, giving you a lot more flexibility there. Then we've also got, you can preview multiple RSS items, so up to 5 different RSS items. We've got smarter summary generation, which is platform aware, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of awesome stuff with RSS in the Social Planner. All right, it looks like we got some check-ins here. Some very humble check-ins. Hello, handsome. Hello to you. Nice to see you. What do we got here? Happy Friday from Mr. M. Dongo. Nice to see you here. It is an amazing Friday here in Southern California. I'm not sure I could say the same for Washington. The Pacific Northwest is probably a little bit chilly right now, but it's crisp. You know, it's a very fresh feeling up there. I can attest to that. Woohoo! It is Friday, indeed. Okay, let's keep going here because we got so many things to get through. Tasks. You can now hide the 0 task alert notification. This is probably a little bit annoying where you'd get a notification letting you know that you didn't have anything due. Nothing like getting your blood pressure up when you open up something thinking that there's something overdue or that you need to do and realizing that there's nothing there. So at any rate, you now have control over this. So you can just say, hey, don't send me any notifications. We're all about control there. And you can obviously set the time that you want all this stuff to be sent out as well. So if you didn't know about that, we have a really nice task management system, some great notifications built in, and more coming in terms of the idea of being able to do more advanced project management. But I would say that even as it stands, very useful feature. You can assign things. You can set up tasks that are not assigned. There's a lot of flexibility there. Even if you're just doing some simple task management, it can be all in the system. All right, moving on to bulk actions. We now have the ability to schedule WhatsApp and drip messages. So this is going to help make sure that your WhatsApps and go into a drip mode. So you can go into drip mode and then you can schedule exactly when that drip mode is going to get fired, when it's going to be sent on. You can also do a time window as well. So if there's certain time windows that you want to go out and not go out, you've got that flexibility right there from bulk actions. Moving on to conversation. Why does this say conversations AI? This is probably a late night edit on my part. Conversation AI, you now can auto follow up with the flow-based builder. So really cool action here. Again, if you got to set up a specific bot that is in the flow base. It's like the third option on the right as you're creating them. And now you have the ability to set the follow-up hours, as well as this dynamic follow-up feature as well, where you can go ahead and it's going to be able to dynamically switch between channels like SMS and email and so forth. So lots of really cool stuff there. Go ahead and test it out. Let us know how it's going for you, but we've got some great feedback already on it. All right, let's move on to prospecting. So, prospecting tool, if you're not aware, super powerful tool. But now we've got the ability to create a marketing audit as a workflow action, which I think is huge, right? So you get a new opt-in, you get somebody to submit a form, or something happens, and you're like, hey, I really just want to start creating a marketing audit report for this, and then you can decide what to do with it after that. So this really automates the whole, hey, let's take this customer's information, let's run an audit on what they're doing, and then you can use that audit to decide how you want to sell something to them. So maybe they're strong in certain areas and weak in others, and so on and so forth. Or maybe there's certain areas you want to focus on. You can, of course, customize this report. So if you want to use different colors and so forth, but also customizing what is listed there. So all those different things come kind of downstream, but this is a really nice feature to be able to do it within workflows. I know a lot of folks have been asking for this for a while, so love to see that this got shipped. We will take another little break here for some shout outs. Who else do we have here? All right, we got Florida checking in. Happy Friday from Florida. Nice to see you. Hopefully, you guys are warming up a bit. Looks like Baltimore, Maryland is in the house. I have spent many hours on the Baltimore. Now I forget the name of it, but the Parkway that goes from DC to Baltimore. I've spent a lot of hours in traffic there, so I know what it's like in Baltimore. Kia ora to you, Heidi. Nice to see you. And with that, we will jump into a few more releases. Moving on to the email builder. So we now have the enhanced and more flexible UI. So as you can kind of tell here, the UI has moved over to the right. There's a number of different enhancements that the team has posted here. You got cleaner navigation, simplified interactions, reduced friction across the email creation workflow. I can attest to that. I did a few tests for building some emails, including email AI, which we'll get into in a moment here. But I think this really brings a lot of the consistency to the other builders for funnels and websites, let's say. And you'll see more and more of that where things are just where you'd expect them, both for funnels, websites, forums, surveys, quizzes, all that kind of stuff. We really want to make that a consistent experience. So even though you're building something different, it feels very similar. Next up, we have a communities release. You can now directly add a member to a course. So before you could kind of do this with workflows, there are workarounds and stuff that, I think frankly, just people didn't like to have to build a whole workaround for something pretty simple. So now within courses, you can select the person and the course that you want to put them into, and you can go ahead and do that. So loving all this flexibility right within the UI and not having to build some complicated workaround, or maybe not even complicated, but unnecessary. So really cleaning that up. App Marketplace got multi-OAuth support. So if you don't know what OAuth is, it's essentially a really secure way to connect, like, let's say, your Google account or your Facebook account or whatever it happens to be, external accounts, to a particular app. But in this case, we're talking about an app within the App Marketplace. So before, we only supported one of these connections, which kind of a pain in the butt, right? Because so many people have different things that they're doing, or they have different accounts, or maybe the app itself needs access to different accounts. So we rolled out support for this, so developers can now take this and run with it and really make that whole process a lot more streamlined. I hesitate to use that word because it gets used so often, but this will really help a lot. We're centralizing all the token management, encrypting all the login information and so forth, so that security is just on by default. And hopefully that helps everybody along with building more capable apps that are easier to use. And I regretfully did not put a slide up for this, but I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware. We are now SOC 2 compliant. I will throw up the blog post that we published yesterday or day before. I don't know, it's been a long week, but We are now SOC 2 compliant. So if that has been a requirement that you've like been dying for, that you've been wanting to go sell to enterprise grade customers, we now have that security credential, certification, attestation, whatever you want to call it. But super, super big win. And I will tell you, this came in ahead of schedule, like way ahead of schedule. I was told like end of April, maybe. And the team got it done in short order. So shout out to them for all the hard work. It was not easy. This is not like a just try a little bit harder and it'll go faster. It's a very laborious process. So thank you so much to the team. And I'm proud to say we are now SOC 2 compliant. Moving on. We've got workflows, has advanced tag filtering and triggers. This was Chase's favorite release of the week. I could just tell by his reaction in the Slack thread. And this is really great, right? So not only can you just say, hey, trigger this if they have a tag, but now you can do the inverse of that. Like they don't have this tag, and you can stack filters too, as well as having, as you can see here, multiple tags in the same filter. So really love to see this enhancement. I think a lot of people have been just clamoring for the ability to do this because previously you had to have all kinds of different triggers and make it make sense. Now it's all in one place. So hopefully that helps a lot of you create much more simplified workflows. Workflows also got an update to the find contact action. So now you can not only search for the primary phone or email in this case, you can also click the little checkbox that says include additional emails. So if you have multiple emails in the same contact record, multiple phone numbers, it's going to look for that too. Again, kind of a no-brainer. This should be really easy to implement and useful for a lot of folks. We also got 2 new integrations with workflow actions. The first one is Open Router. So this is just an action because Open Router is essentially a way to connect up to what the team told me 300 different LLMs and AI type agent products. And so you can integrate that with your HighLevel account and then use it as an action. So let's say there's some crazy LLM that works really well for your use case. You're using Open Router to deal with all that information and to kind of pass information to and from the Open Router configuration that you have. You can now integrate that and then pass the information that's in the workflow to Open Router, get the response, and then it comes back. So this is a generate response action. I'm sure we're going to be expanding this to include more things, but I think this is the most popular and obvious use case here, that you want to get a response from a particular LLM that may not be supported right now natively in workflows. The second integration that we got was from Monday.com. So if you didn't know, we have a lot of different CRM integrations, right? We play nice with a lot of different folks, including ClickUp, Monday.com now, and some others as well. Certainly we have Slack integrations too. But if you're using Monday.com a lot and you want to be able to do things in workflows, including triggers and actions, not just particular actions, go ahead and set up that API key, get it integrated, and then you'll see over here in the app section, when you go to search for actions in workflows, there is a number of them. You can create new items, delete them, update items, et cetera, et cetera. So all the Monday.com users out there, rejoice. Finally, we've got, well, not finally, but the next one that we've got here is pause workflow action support in standard builder. So I think that we teased this maybe last week, but we're bringing a lot of the really cool enhancements that they brought to the advanced flow work builder or advanced workflow builder directly to the standard builder. So if, hey, you want to stay in the standard one, that works for you, everything's cool there, but you really like some of the other features, I would say almost all of the features that are in the advanced workflow builder are coming to the standard one. And this is a really powerful one because so often it's just like, no, I just want to disable this particular action and just have it skip and go to the next thing. I'm going to test out this email later on, but I'm just not ready for it yet. And so this kind of gives you that ability. The other thing that we had teased, hopefully I teased it before, but it's putting sticky notes in the same way that they work in the advanced workflow builder, wherein they go behind the action. So you can kind of frame an action with a colored sticky note. Maybe you put a comment in there, some text to kind of define it, or maybe you just use color coding. but that's coming as well. So a lot of really cool things coming to the standard builder, including this one, which is the drag and drop for triggers and actions. So this is pretty obvious, but all you're going to do now, you don't have to like click on the action and then hit save. You can just drag it on in wherever you want it to go. This kind of helps you place it in certain areas without having to like figure out where the plus icon is and move it around to the right place. So click and drag, super obvious. Go give it a shot and let us know what you think. All right. So Ask AI is a product that we've been working really, really hard on. In fact, we had our first town hall for Ask AI recently. And if you haven't been attending town halls, I greatly encourage you to do it. Go highlevel.com/town halls or town hall singular, and you'll see our schedule there. But the Ask AI team has done some amazing enhancements to the way that Ask AI works on the back end. So I just wanted to highlight that. They're getting accuracy way, way above par where we need to be. And actually, the next step for them is to get north of 78, which is an obvious thing. We're going to keep going here, but 78% accuracy is where we're at now, which is a 35-point jump. We're also reducing token usage, which doesn't probably mean a lot to some folks, but that gets more efficient. It gets a lot cheaper to run, which means we can implement more things with it. So it's just shedding some weight from all the tasks that AI has to do. Just makes it faster and cheaper across the board, both in time and money. And then the latency has gone way down. We've got a 32-second reduction in the latency as well. And this includes complex multi-MCP tool calls, et cetera, et cetera. So great job to the Ask AI team for that. Also, the workflow builder, we know the workflow AI builder now has faster workflow generation. So this would be for the predefined prompts that are kind of in that box there. They're going to bring a lot of these enhancements to the custom prompting as well. But we got the time down on that a lot. I think it's between 5 and 10 seconds now. I asked the team for like an exact how much better is that, but it's a lot better. I'll just put it that way. It's at least 50% better. Don't quote me on that. Logged in user filter option added to the custom views. So this is when you're logging in as a particular user, you can see the custom views that would be relevant to them. So it's really connecting dots when you're trying to troubleshoot an account and you log in as a particular user, as an agency admin, let's say. It allows you to do a lot or see exactly what they're seeing, which can be very, very helpful. And then so we have a media core sort of like engine that runs in the background. And this is like a really cool thing for me because I was always in video a lot. So I wanted to highlight this. We have this new Assets DRM client SDK that got launched. And this is more for our internal teams. But I just want to highlight a lot of the cool stuff that they're doing to make sure that the videos, the photos, like any kind of imagery, GIFs, stuff like that, SVGs, like you name it. We've got a very comprehensive and robust system in the background, making sure that now those videos are going to scale correctly, that we get crystal clear streaming, that we have very low latency and high bandwidth on all that and high bit rates. So shout out to that team for pushing another version of the client SDK there. And that's going to do it there. So now we are going to talk about a couple of things that are entering labs. If you have not been messing around with labs, please, please, please go check it out. You go to agency level settings and then go to labs, and you will see two tabs. One's going to be for agency and one's going to be for sub account. And you can enable certain features that are going into labs and check them out before they go wide and be able to provide direct feedback to those teams, what you love, what you don't love. And then that way they can incorporate all those changes before it goes into a wide release. So get in the habit of doing that if you're not already. Email AI beta 2.0, clearer, faster, smarter. I played around with this recently and it has gotten way, way better. We had a couple little points of feedback for the team, but again, this is a great time to be doing this. Stress test the system, try to get it to do things that you maybe do in another platform and you have to import it in. But go and check it out. You got to enable it in labs and then you'll get this sidebar, which looks very similar to the same sidebar that is in Funnel AI. And you'll be able to decide, hey, this is what the email is for. Here's what it's doing. You can put in your custom prompt there. You can also give it a reference URL. You could be like, hey, I love this email, or you can upload an image like, I love this email. I want it to be designed in a similar fashion. So stuff like that, so that you can take that inspiration, have AI do its thing, adapt it to you. But then you can also make edits within each element. So you can click on an element and be like, I don't like this picture. I want it to be more bright and sunny, which I did, and it worked great. So at any rate, lots of great stuff coming to the email AI builder. Go and check out the beta 2.0 and let the team know what you think. Next up, there is a WordPress release for AI-powered page builder. So this is sort of first iteration here. Again, give the team as much feedback as you'd like, but you can now create WordPress templates, WordPress pages. If you're doing WordPress hosting within HighLevel, you can now do that where you can have AI create the page for you. So it's great to be able to experiment with all these, but just make sure that you get your prompting right, that you're being as descriptive as possible, because like a lot of things in software development, garbage in, garbage out. So we want to make sure that we're giving good context to the prompts. And if you have any ideas for improving the way that happens, so that end customers or end users can really easily use AI without having to worry about all the prompting, we'd love to hear from you. And especially if you've seen it done other places, that's brilliant. So with that, we are going to move to the next segment of the show where we do some community shout outs. I saw a couple of cool ones this week. This one's a little bit older, but in the theme of A2P, just wanted to share a small win today. I've got my first client sub account through A2P verification. I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous going through the process, but it turned out to be a great learning experience. And he goes on to talk about how HighLevel University has been very helpful there. So we have courses in HighLevel University. If you haven't gone to check them out, got very specific courses on specific things. One of those includes A2P verification. We, of course, have a ton more tools that were recently launched to help make sure that we're using AI in very smart ways to look for reasons why your A2P verification could get denied, so that you can fix them before you submit. And we've got more and more work being done on that as we speak. So that it's a huge effort for us, but wanted to also highlight the fact that sometimes you got to go through that process. It's not always easy, especially your first time. And so congratulations for getting through that. On the other side of the coin, Kathy Thomas, who I'm sure a lot of you know, I remember her telling me that this was her goal at the Level Up summit that we had last year and the year before. And so she finally did it. So she finally got to 6-figure HighLevel affiliate. We're really proud of you, and keep going for the commander jacket. Those are really cool jackets. If you don't know, there's a commander status for the affiliates, and it includes a custom designed jacket, which is beautiful. With that, we're going to get into some heavy hitting upcoming releases with our buddy Will Farrell, who cracks me up. I know he's kind of a some people love him, some people don't like him so much, but I think he's kind of funny. So I got to choose. Coming soon, add media storage files to courses. So I didn't have a great snapshot for this. We actually went through it in the town hall, but I didn't have access to some of these images. So just imagine when you're creating a course, you click on this button and you get your media storage, your media library that pops up there, and you can select which one you want to include there. Right now, the process says you've got to upload it from your computer, which is a little bit annoying. And so the team is working hard on that to get that out. And that should support thumbnails and all the media that needs to be updated or uploaded to a particular course or lesson. You'll be able to use the media storage media library to do that. So really stoked for that to come. And then this is another area near and dear to my heart, which is typography. We're getting more controls for within funnels and websites to be able to define using design kits what the typography should be. And so we got some great feedback from some folks on town halls where they're like, hey, this is really cool, but I also want to be able to define what my H1 should look like, what my H2 should look like, H3 is like maybe down to H6. I think that's a little bit excessive, but I'm not a full-time designer. So a lot of really great enhancements being brought in here so that you can set up everything one time and get consistent looking funnels every time you build a new one. Which I don't know about you, but that's kind of the main thing that holds me back from getting more funnels and more sites developed and designed and gone to production. So really looking forward to that level of control. And finally, a shout out to Isa on our design team. She said that the slide that we had wasn't beautiful and she had a different idea for that. So we would love your testimonials. If you've had experience with HighLevel, good, bad, indifferent, we just want to hear from you. You can also test out the way that our video testimonials product works, which is another awesome feature within HighLevel. But you can see what the front end looks like and go ahead and leave your testimonial. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, very excited for the week to come. We got a lot of really cool things on the horizon. And with that, I will bid you adieu. Have an amazing weekend. Stay safe, stay warm, and we will see you on the next release.